So here we go. Today you're going to discover the 3 flows of energy. I'm going to show you how your energy works and introduce you to the 5 steps of EAM. So when I first really started understanding energy was probably around the time when The Secret came out. If anyone's seen the film The Secret, most people have, or at least you've heard of it or maybe read the book. I really began to understand that there was actually more to it, and there was a scientific basis behind all of these things that I'd been studying for years and years as my complementary therapy work. I always kind of thought it was this spiritual principle, and that was the only thing only place that energy really existed. But once I began to understand that we are all part of something much bigger. We're part of this amazing field of energy known as the electron field. Now, it's become very prevalent really in our society now, and especially if you're familiar with the personal development world, to know that we are all energy. But it isn't just a spiritual principle, it isn't just a personal development thing, it is actually now proven by science that we are all energy and we're all connected through this net of electrons. And the wonderful news is we influence what that mat of electrons does. It isn't something that happens to us. It isn't something that happens outside of us. We are it. It is us. We are connected to it, and we can influence everything we see. Now, what I want to show you is how we do that, how our influence and how our energy is set up in order that we can affect what we see and what we experience in our day-to-day lives. Now, many of you might be familiar with the law of attraction. It's one of 12 universal laws but the law of attraction is probably the most popular or the most well-known one, because everyone thinks it's about manifesting the car or the house or the relationship or the money or the success in your business. Now, the most important one is actually the law of vibration. Now, the law of vibration is the thing that talks about the fact that we are all energy. Everything is energy vibrating at different rates. Now, the chair that you're sat on, the bed that you lay on, the things that you see around you are all energy vibrating at a slower rate, which is why you can see them, feel them, touch them, sit on them, lay on them. Now, the things that vibrate at a higher frequency or a higher rate are things that we can't often see. The spectrum of energy that we can see as human beings is tiny. If any of you have ever seen this, the map of the electromagnetic spectrum, which you'll see on your screen now, it talks about the different vibrations of energy. We are influenced by energy in our day-to-day life all day, every day. If you think about the thing that you cook your dinner with, if you've still got a microwave, you know, we microwave our dinners with electromagnetic energy. When you go to hospital and have an X-ray, you are zapping your body with waves of energy that you can't see. If you want to go and blow somebody up with a bomb, we use gamma rays, or they're also used, we've got things like ultraviolet light, which disinfect things, but there is a whole spectrum of energy. Our radio waves, gamma rays, microwaves, all of them are outside of our visible experience. Yet, you'll see there on the chart in the middle, the tiny piece of the energy spectrum that we can see, which is only through visible light. So think about the scope of energy, the amount of energy that is outside our day-to-day experience, yet we know that it is there. We are influenced by it every day. You receive your TV signals through it. You are able to listen to things on your phone. You cook your dinner with it. You go to hospital with it. There is all of this energy surrounding us that we don't see, but it definitely plays a part in what we do. Now, the same applies to us. There is energy in every single part of our lives. Energy is all around us, and it's about how we direct that energy that influences what we experience. So for me, I believe there are these 3 flows of energy. Energy can only be in one of 3 energy states. It's either in flow, in resistance, or in reversal. Now, if your energy is only in one of those 3 states, the one that everybody wants to get to is that state of being in flow. We know that we're in flow when you have those days when you get up in the morning, your hair looks great, your skin looks amazing, you get out of bed, the sun is shining, your hair goes the way that it's supposed to, you put on the clothes, someone tells you look great, they open the door for you, you find a tenner on the floor, someone buys you a coffee. Those are kind of the good days. You're like, yeah, I'm rocking at this thing called life. Then we have those times when things are in resistance. It feels like you are being pulled in two directions. There's part of you that wants to move in one direction and do something, and there is another part of you, usually a thought, belief, or something happening in our energy that is holding us back. And it feels like this pull. We feel like we're being pulled between two trains, or it's almost like, do you remember that little boy at school that used to hold onto the back of your jumper when you were trying to run in the opposite direction? It's almost like that, like he's holding onto the back of your jumper. You want to go this way, but he's holding on. Now, when we've got that resistance in the way, it means that we can't move. We're almost in a stuck place. This is the time when you feel like you're stuck. You're not moving anywhere. And it happens on lots of different things in lots of different situations. Now, the third flow of energy is often the one that we don't know how to handle. It's called an energy reversal. Now, energy reversals mean that your energy is literally flowing in the opposite direction to the thing that you want. It's not that it's stuck. There is no part of an energy reversed flowing in the direction of the things you're asking for. It's flowing in the opposite direction. So with an energy reversal, the energy is literally flowing in the opposite direction from everything that you want. Now, you know that you've got an energy reversal when the situation in your life doesn't seem to change no matter how much you do, or it seems to get worse, or you are not able to approach it because it's too emotional, or you avoid it altogether because you just don't know how to handle it. So energy reversals often show up in our life a little bit like Groundhog Day. You might look at a situation in your life and you think, I was doing this like 2 or 3 years ago. I might have different people around me, but my life almost feels like I'm going round in circles, like nothing's shifted, nothing's changed. I'm repeating the same pattern time and time again, but nothing is really changing no matter how much I do it. Now, often people have energy reversals around things like money or relationships, those big significant events that we all want to shift and change if they're not flowing in the right way for us. But whilst you've got an energy reversal, it's impossible for you to change it without redirecting that energy. And it's very often the reason why people struggle with changing their life unless they are working on an energetic basis. So I'd love to know, please comment underneath this video, but where are energy reversals showing up for you? Where are you feeling stuck? That's often a resistance. And if you can feel like you're going around and round and repeating yourself in Groundhog Day, it's an energy reversal. Now, the good news is I'm going to show you how you can let that go. Now, the state that we want to get to, the reason that we work with EAM, the reason it's about alignment and putting yourself into a state of flow, isn't because it's just a nice thing to say. There are lots of reasons for you to be in flow. The state of flow is actually something that happens on a physiological, psychological, and energetic level. Now, if you think about it, we talk about the state of flow. Musicians talk about the state of flow. Sports people, athletes talk about being in a state or being in the zone. That state of flow is because everything in your energy is congruent. It is saying exactly the same thing. We experience the state of flow as feelings of happiness, of love, of everything going really well, of feeling like things are easy. And it is also having an impact on us on a physical level. So on a physical level, the state of flow actually changes our brain waves. It actually changes the brain waves that we experience. It puts us into a slower, lower frequency, which makes us feel more grounded. We're not in that stressed out state. It changes our heart wave patterns. There is a huge amount of research by a company called the HeartMath Institute based over in the US. They have been exploring our heart waves and the electromagnetic energy that we emit for the last sort of 20, 30, probably even 40 years now. They've got a phenomenal amount of research behind this. But they actually have been able to show the influence of our heart energy. Now, I don't have time to go into teaching you all of it today, but understand that your heart is the most powerful part of your energy. It's actually the influence of our heart that affects everything else that happens in our physiology and our psychology. Now, it also affects our hormone levels. It reduces stress. It reduces adrenaline and cortisol in the body. It enables our body to go into a healing state. When you're in the state of flow, your body can repair itself from anything because the cells in the body are no longer on high alert. They're actually able to settle and go into the repairing phase. So the state of flow isn't just an esoteric principle. It's not just about manifesting something. This is a proven physiological, psychological, and energetic state which influences our whole experience in our lives. So for me, it's about really changing your perception. It's about understanding that from this flow state, you start to see things outside of you from a place of it being good, of it being fun, that everything is actually working out for you. Start to look at the things outside of you as being the things that you want to experience, rather than looking through the lenses of the thoughts, the beliefs, the patterns and things that are holding you back. And that's exactly what EAM does. It enables you to shift all of those things so they're no longer in your energy, they're no longer in your experience, so you experience more of those good things and you're able to stay in flow more frequently. Now, what is the flow state? What is actually happening on an energetic level? Now, there are three parts of your energy that you need to understand. And it's your head, your heart, and your Hara. You'll see here on the image from the Heart Math Institute, where they've actually shown the different influences of our energy. And you'll see the energy coming from our heart is so much bigger than the energy that is emitted by our brain. Now, when you think about your head, we're talking about our brain. When you go into hospital, what are the two things that they measure? If you're on life support, they're measuring your brain waves and they're measuring your heart waves. And if either of them are considered to be not working, then you're not considered to be alive anymore. Now, there is much, much more going on than just your brain functioning and your heart functioning. These two very powerful electromagnetic emitters are influencing everything that happens in your life on a day-to-day basis. Now, your brain waves are actually really quite, I say weak, that's the wrong word. They're nowhere near as strong as the heart waves that are emitted from here. We give so much preference to our brain. We think that it's our head that's logical, our head that has the answers. We should listen to logic. We should listen to reason. It's our brain that has everything. But actually, what they've shown is our heart energy is 5,000 times stronger than our brain waves. Our heart energy can be measured on scientific instruments up to 20 feet away from us. So the influence of what we're feeling, the influence of what's happening in our energy doesn't only affect you, it affects anybody that you're spending time with, especially friends, family and partners. And we all know that sometimes people we spend the most time with can rub us up the wrong way, don't they? We've all experienced it. It doesn't matter how spiritual you are or how spiritual anybody else is around you. We all still have those days when people just get on your nerves. And usually what's going on is there's something in their energy and something in your energy that's actually having this battle. And it's because our energy expands way beyond what you see on a physical level. So our heart energy that you experience or can be measured up to 20 feet away is what's more commonly known as our aura. So our aura, you might have heard from many Eastern philosophies, is almost a little bit like a Russian doll. There are lots of different levels that come away from it, and I'll explain those to you in a second. But the third energetic part that you need to understand is what's known as our Hara. Now, our Hara is actually an energy center which is just below our belly button. It's about 3 fingers width below and about 3 or 4 fingers width inside. It's not on the surface. So if you imagine it's almost like a small ball just below your belly button. Now your Hara is an energy center, but it actually governs the whole of this part of our body. Now, if you think about what happens just here from our belly button down, we've got our kidneys around the back, which I know are sort of just at our waist level, just below our ribs. But this Hara energy governs all of our sexual organs. It's about that manifesting energy. It runs our kidneys, it manages our adrenal or stress responses, it manages our cortisol levels, it manages our oxytocin levels, it manages all of our sexual energy. If you think about it, when we have an orgasm, how freaking awesome does it feel? And it's because it's a release of inflow energy. That's why they feel so good. And that's why some people get so addicted to actually experiencing more and more of this, because it's actually an inflow state. Now, the Hara energy, if our Hara energy is an inflow, it makes it really difficult for us to manifest anything. This Hara energy is the grounded part of us. It's what enables us to manifest things on a physical level. If you think about it, this is where a woman creates an entire human being in this one tiny area that ends up probably not looking so tiny by the end of 9 months. But we create human beings in this space. So if we can create a human being in this space, if we can learn to connect to our Hara energy, and if we can make sure that it's in flow, imagine what else you can manifest if you're connected to this energy. So when we talk about the state of flow, what it means is that our head, our heart, and our Hara energy are all vibrating at the same energy frequency. It means that they're all saying the same thing. We don't have thoughts that are disagreeing with what we feel and disagreeing with the action that we're taking. So that's why things feel like they are all working out for you, because your head's saying the same thing, your heart's saying the same thing, your Hara's saying the same thing. So there's nothing conflicting in your energy, and it means that all of your energy is focused and directed in the way that you want it to be. So when you're in this state of flow, or what we call alignment, it means your head, your heart, and your Hara are singing the same tune. Your physical body is the slowest vibrating part of your aura, which is why you can see it. That's why we can see everything around us. Some people can see auras, and all it means is that they're able to see some of the other energy that makes up who we are. The further away from you get, the higher vibrating the energy is. Now, the different layers that we have coming out, the ones that are most important to our day-to-day experience, are called the etheric, the emotional, and the mental. So our physical body, etheric, emotional, and mental, are what are known as the earthly bodies. They're the ones that determine our day-to-day experience. Now, our aura isn't just some passive thing that sits there. It is actually a recording device. Imagine everything you've ever felt, everything you've ever experienced, everything you've ever seen, everything you ever remember is recorded in your energy. Now, that might be wonderful if you've had an amazing life where everything was great and you had magical rainbows all around you. However, I know sometimes people have also been in situations where things weren't so great, where we've got beliefs that don't necessarily support us, where we've been in traumatic situations or things have happened to us. And those things are still held in our energy too. So whilst they're still there, whilst you're still holding these things in your energy, it means wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you experience, those situations are still influencing your life until or unless you find a way to let them go. Now, the good news is you've got EAM, or you will have EAM when I show you the 5 steps shortly. Whilst we continue to have those things on our energy, it means we're going to keep on experiencing those situations in our lives in lots of different ways. We will continually view the outside world through the lenses of those things that happened to us before. So the work we're doing with EAM is actually about clearing up our aura. Imagine it's like a big energy spring clean. We're releasing all of the stories from the past. without having to go digging, without having to retell traumatic events. It's just about releasing stuck energy, any reversed or resistant energy, and moving it to a place of flow. That's everything that we do. So that's the work that we're doing, is really about aligning our head, our heart, and our Hara, and making sure that our aura is clear. Any questions about this, please, please, please post them under the video. But the real point for this for me is the only thing that is ever standing in your way isn't the things that we think are going on outside of us. It's only our own level of resistance. So once you know that you can release stuck energy, stuck thoughts, beliefs, patterns, experiences, you can shift whatever is happening outside of you by changing what happens in your energy. And I'm going to show you how to do that with EAM. So you've learned how to do the 3 flows of energy, and we've had a really tiny, brief introduction to energy and what's really happening with your head, your heart, your Hara, and your aura. This is a huge topic, and there is so much more for me to share with you. But I want to get to show you the 5 steps of the energy alignment method itself so that you can start using this in your life every day. Now, just quickly, while I have a drink of water, I want you to have a think about the aha moments you've just had, anything that's come up for you, and where you can relate to this, where you can see this coming up in your life. Please share that underneath the video or make a note of this for yourself. But where is this resonating? Where have you seen yourself in that reversed kind of going round in circle space, or where can you feel that you're being pulled in these 2 directions?